Senior Report thanks Edmund Besch of Bristol Burgess Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street, Westfield, for his generous grant to provide news to seniors. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding for Senior Report is provided in part by a grant from Andrew Goodell, Assemblyman for the 150th District of the New York State Assembly. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. Senior Report with Reed Powers thanks Westfield's Schultz Chevy for a generous grant to inform seniors of important news. Over 50 years of service to Westfield by Chevrolet, Schultz Chevy across from the school. The physicians of Jamestown Primary Care are happy to sponsor the Senior Report. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
Husband is. Good morning. What a beautiful day we have in Chautauqua County. It's bright, it's sunny, the snow is everywhere. It's like a black and white photo when you drive over the hills, all the black trees and dark evergreens and the white snow. It's a glorious, wonderful, clean world out there. And get out and ski a little, do some ice skating, have some fun. I would be careful about going out on Chautauqua Lake yet, but have a good time in the snow. That's what it's all about, and that's what it's for. I made a snowman yesterday. Can you believe it? It's not packing properly yet, though. It's got to get a little bit wet. Okay, we have a great show lined up for you. We're going to talk about veganism, pescanism, and vegetarianism. Pescanism, is that a correct word? I don't think so.
Never heard it before.
Pescanism are people who eat fish who are vegetarians. Some say, hey, I'll eat a fish. Yeah, they don't have to kill it, and they don't raise it in horrible conditions or anything. Well, they do eventually kill it, of course, but that's open game. Now we're going to talk about other things too. We have all the fact that the seniors are not getting their COLA again this year. And it's becoming to the point where they're about getting 47 cents on a dollar from what they got 10 years ago. Just that difference. And it's no wonder they're now, the ARP and other groups are trying to figure out how to get food to needy seniors, 13 million of them now who can't afford their food. They have to buy their meds and other things. So at this point, it's a desperate situation. And this is what they can do, though, what they did during the Great Depression. Cat food. Cat food is very inexpensive, it's healthy, it tastes all right, especially, this is the tuna, and if you rinse it and mix it with mayo, it's pretty good to eat. It's not bad at all, and I'm going to do a cookbook on that, and I'll give you some more background. The beef strips are good too, but you again have to rinse them and you put gravy in them, and they're edible, and very inexpensive that way. You can keep a body and soul together. Cat food, and you'll be living in your children's basements. If you notice, half the ads for foreclosed homes and taxes and so forth are seniors who can't pay their costs for their home anymore, thanks to the lack of Social Security. Thank you, Congress, for giving them half what they gave us for our Social Security just 10 years ago, and it's getting worse and worse by the day. They gave us 1.7 today and picked up a lot of that for our health care, and it looks like we're actually going to come up less money in hand this year on our Social Security than we got last year. Less. And this is in a 5%, 4% if you believe some people. The worst suggestion is 3% by the statisticians of inflation. So, seniors, you're going down the tubes. You're being thrown right under the bus. Thank you, Congress, our loving Congress. And everybody else, I might add. The state's been cutting senior aid. The counties had to cut it. It's getting worse and worse for seniors because they're throwing you under the bus. Cutting your Medicare, Medicaid, and everything. All right, enough said. I've got some stuff here I wanted to mention. First of all, Mayville has a wonderful club, and we're in Mayville right now. They have a senior group here, and I just strongly suggest anybody in the area, you don't even have to be a resident. You can be a resident of Westfield or Clymer, wherever you want, and come over to Mayville. It's a wonderful group here. They have a large turnout. They meet at the Mayville VFW, which is down along the shore, you know, near that big center where they sell the best fudge on earth, Webb's. I still remember as a kid we used to go over there and get their fudge, and they still have it. It was great fudge. At any rate, president over there is Joyce Ayers, and she does the job. And she wanted to mention the food people. The food is most important. You know, when you go to a senior group, you get lunch usually or cookies anyway, and coffee. And the people that do the job are. Let me put the cheaters on here because the print's pretty small on this one. I want to mention hats off to Lois Riker, Bonnie Johnson, Mary Carlson, who do the job. And they had a lot of casseroles and desserts. Everybody chips in and brings something for their lunch, and they have a great time. And Jane Kelsey has all kinds of scheduled trips. And there are some new rules from the tour companies. All new trips must be paid a month ahead. But there is trip emergency insurance. Wedding anniversaries, birthdays, Jean Reinhardt, Maxine Francis, Alma Shepard, Sharon Crandall, Barb Witherell, Priscilla Farver, Sandra Chandler, Dick and Joanne Westfall are celebrating their wedding anniversaries. How about that? And nobody won the lottery. The dough is still there, guys. Next meeting, if you want to meet the Mayville crowd, get over there on February 7th. They meet at noon at the Mayville VFW. Soup and sandwich dinner. Bring soup or a sandwich. Or $3. Some other things, there's the driver safety class, the ARP driver safety class is in February and January 25th, 2013. Wednesday, February 6th, and Friday, February 8th is when it's held. And it's a Masonic Lodge in Main Street in Fredonia. You know, that's pretty much across from the school, the college up there. 12:30 to 3:30. You got to be there both days, but you get 10% off your insurance, and they shave some points off from your reckless driving. I said, you know, I've never had a point. Can I bank them? No, you got to have them already. All right. And you do learn some interesting things. I learned, for instance, to carry a body stocking with me. Tell your wife ahead of time what you're doing while you have a body stocking in your trunk. But if you break a pulley, you take this thing, wind it up, and tighten it on your on the pulleys, and it'll work fine as a belt until at least get you to the next garage where you can have a proper belt installed. And little tricks like that. Always turn right, never turn left. You have to go around the block. Go right. Things like that. Don't back up. Make sure you back up as little as possible. They have an adult daycare center in Jamestown. In Maple Grove Junior High went over there and said hello with the junior class. Let's see. There's one or two other notes here. Chautauqua County RSVP is asking for volunteers. That's the Retired Seniors Volunteer Program. RSVP, and they do thousands of jobs in Chautauqua County. And there's 1,000 people working on it right now. They need more help, and They just ask you to come and serve as mentors, if nothing else. And they need them for school, for kids who are having problems. It's nice to have a grandmotherly type to chat with when you're a kid. Some of them don't have any parents, you know, that pay any attention to them. Audubon Center plans an annual Snowflake Festival, January 18th. What? Here, January 26th. Let's see, Great Belt Seniors. They've got 2 new activities. They do knitting on Wednesday and crocheting. How about that? Okay, I've been told I'm finished. There's a lot to go on here. We've got Karen Harvey on, who talks for at least half an hour. So we'll have her on in a minute. In the meantime, for you, I have a special message. This is for you.
Hey. Ich bin ein Sanitäter, ich sehe, wo wir sind. Hey. Ich bin ein Sanitäter, ich heiße Nils. Sprichst kein Deutsch, ne? In 4 Minuten! Bitte mit deinen Maske, okay? Wie heißen Sie?
Serious stuff, huh? Oh, here we go. One note, we got one of our viewers told us that the Audubon Center has an annual Snowflake Festival, horse-drawn sleigh rides, sled dog, live bird demonstrations, live birds even, and crafts and all kinds of things, good things to eat. And it's been changed. It's February the 2nd. That is the Audubon Center annual Snowflake Festival, February 2nd. Okay, enough said, enough done. We got a lot of things to do here. I've got somebody who's sitting here quietly, and she shoots from the hip. Karen Harvey, a noted film journalist. You're on, Karen.
Okay, thank you, Reed. This week we saw the county legislature make a decision about our county home, our county nursing home. We think they made the right decision, but there are a number of facts that are not reported in our public media, in our private media, I must call it. The newspapers locally do not tell us. They don't remind us, first of all, an overview that it wasn't so long ago that $16.9 trillion was used to bail out the corrupt banks in our country. $16.9 trillion is a very large amount of money. We're talking about a very small amount of money here in our community. One of the facts that we have not seen in our public media is that the county executive has not allowed the negotiator, Mr. Perpelia, to sit down with the union and begin to institute the things that the Center for Governmental Research proposed, things that the union has put on the table to cost cut at the home and to further increase the financial viability by not continuing extended benefits for the union. So they've proposed a $2.5 million concession as a union to help keep the public home public. The Center for Governmental Research also points out that the county home has a $5 million fund balance. We're not hearing that from our county executive. Our county executive continues to say there's a $9,000 a day loss. Don Pryor, who heads the Center for Governmental Research, has tried to correct that statement several times. It's getting no traction in the regular media. The fund balance is $5 million, and the home is actually has a modest surplus. It has a modest surplus. This is not reported in our media. Now, Legislator Barmore, this was not reported either, says that the deficit that the county executive talks about over and over has no relationship to the home. That is, none of that deficit can be attributed to the nursing home's costs.
Karen, a number of our legislators are questioning what's going on over here, aren't they?
Well, the numbers were available to the Center for Governmental Research. They went into the home and they saw the books. They saw the county budget, and they came up with the truth. But we're not getting it out to the public. The truth is there is a surplus. The county home is doing just fine. Legislator Nazaro, in a conversation with myself on Wednesday night, said that the property taxes of the county are being reduced. This next budget does not show an increase, it shows a decrease in your county property taxes. The CGR report has pointed out that the legacy costs at the home, they put $60 million worth of improvements in that home.
And
they're going to sell
incidentally,
it for $16 million?
Incidentally, they didn't add a bed. That's the law in New York State.
Right,
No
but
new beds.
$60 million, it is a state-of-the-art, and furthermore, when they say 1-star, it's not. It's a 4-star when it comes to the staff. It may be a 1-star when you end up with less money for Medicaid, but there are 4 categories, and the main category is that it's well-staffed. It's got the best staff, the highest rating. So that's also a misrepresentation. In any case, if you sell that home for $16.5 million, a home that has $60 million worth of improvements, you will only garner $650,000 in profit after the legacy costs have been retired. That is not, where are you going to, why sell it if that's the kind of a profit? So if there is no increase in our taxes, our property taxes, if there is little profit from the sale, and if there is little expense attributable to this home, this fine home that is under our control, then what is the issue? Medicaid and Medicare, this is another fact that we don't hear. Medicaid and Medicare are paid by us. We pay a lot in this county. It goes back to the home to care for those people, but there is a surplus, sometimes in excess. If you have an $85 a bed and you only spend $80 today to take care of that person, that profit, if it were in the hands of private owners, would go off to that private owner, to their stockholders, to their consultants, to their owners. No, it goes right back into improving. And when we called the people in Arizona that sold their public nursing home, they said, we know that they cheat the government with their Medicaid and Medicare fraud. And we also know that when we had the home, we had an excess until the state government cut us. We had an excess from our Medicaid and Medicare. We took care of our people well, and we put the rest of the money into our community. So I once again say, what is the issue? If we have no increase in taxes, very little profit from the sale, and there is no expense attributable to the home, why not keep it a public facility?
Thank you, Karen Harvey. I would add one little point here. One of the problems is in our nursing home, a county home, there are over 85% of the patients there are on Medicaid. Now, Medicaid doesn't pay anywhere near as much as private pay, and it's very hard in many cases to get somebody into a private nursing home on Medicaid. Medicare doesn't pay much. So this is an important element. Most of these people, they say they'll take care of them, but what happens a little later when somebody goes begging who is destitute as a senior and says, we need help, they'll say, I'm sorry, we have no Medicaid beds for you. Goodbye. Thank you, Karen Harvey, for a good point or two. I will say this, for our seniors, they're throwing them under the bus, and this is another place where they're trying to dump them. We have had a nursing home, a county nursing home in this county, almost since they incorporated the county. It used to be in DeWittville, and they raised a farm crop over there. And it's now, they're trying to sell our last resort for seniors who are destitute. All right, the seniors built this county, remember, and they do deserve, at the end of their lives, they deserve a little bit of help. Thank you very much, Karen Harvey. We have with us a special person. She's Erb is her name. She's an herbologist. She does herbs. She is a vegetarian. And many people have no idea what vegetarians eat, what they do, how they take care of their diet, what their proteins, and the difference between a vegetarian and a pescatarian and a vegan. And a vegan is not from another planet anymore. It's actually part of the vegetarian crowd. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Gail Erb. And Gail, where are you from?
I live here in Mayville.
Okay, were you born here? Where were you born?
In Westfield, at the hospital in Westfield.
Right, so you're a local all your life?
Yes.
Where do you live now? Right here in Mayville somewhere?
Yes.
Okay. And I see you brought your handsome husband with you.
Yes, I did.
Okay, his name is?
Carl.
Carl, and you have a dog?
We have a dog and a cat and a few beehives.
And how about kids? You got any kids romping around?
Oh, not anymore. My son is an adult now, and he's on his own.
Where does he live?
He lives in Westfield.
Oh, so it's a family unit there in Westfield, huh? Or in the area, I mean, Westfield,
Yes,
Mayville.
yes.
That's terrific. I have the same good fortune in that all my children live within 2 blocks of my house.
Oh, that's
And one
nice.
lives just down the street, 3 houses down. How about that?
You're lucky.
Well, actually, that's the greatest gift seniors can have, besides good health, I'd say, is having their children nearby. Instead of
that's
having to
good.
fly across the country once a year and see them for a week and bye-bye, you know.
I know.
And the grandchildren come toddling over every once in a while and kind of kick in and help out around the house. It's nice. Well, now, you're a vegetarian. What's a vegetarian?
Oh, okay.
Tell me, Gail, because, I'm not sure what a vegetarian is.
Well, a lot of people don't know what a vegetarian is, and there's one question that a lot of people have asked me over the years that I've been a vegetarian. When they find out, right away they ask, do you eat chicken and fish? Well, chicken and fish are animals, so they are not a vegetarian food. So you're not a vegetarian if you eat chicken and fish. I've got a list here of the different types of vegetarians and what they eat. There's the basic vegetarian, which is a lacto-ovo vegetarian.
What's that mean, lacto-ovo?
It means they do not eat fish, meat, and fowl, but they do eat dairy products and eggs.
Okay, so they eat cheese and milk and things like that.
Right, they eat cheese and eggs and all that. There's an ovo-vegetarian. Ovo-vegetarians eat dairy products. No, they don't eat dairy products. They do not eat meat, fish, fowl, and dairy, but they eat eggs. Then there's the lacto-vegetarians. Lacto-vegetarians do not eat meat, fish, fowl, and eggs, but they do eat dairy.
I wonder why this division of foods. That seems kind of weird, I'll drink milk but not eat eggs, and I'll eat eggs but won't drink milk.
Well, then there's the people on the vegan diet that eat no animal products at all. Some eat honey and some don't.
Is honey an animal product? Yeah, I guess
Well,
technically.
It's a plant.
Honeybees are animals, I guess.
Well, some people believe that because, see, the honeybees have 2 stomachs. They have the one where they actually put the food they eat themselves. But when they're transporting nectar to the hive, they have another stomach that they carry the honey in. And then when they get to the hive, they regurgitate the nectar. And they pass it along to worker bees that are working inside the hive. So technically, I guess they put some sort of enzymes in the nectar to turn it into to turn it into honey.
Yeah, I always wondered how nectar turns into honey.
So some vegans consider it an animal product because of that. And but people who don't eat any animal products are known as a total vegetarian. Now, if they also do not wear wool or leather, then they're a total vegan. So, or use cosmetics and other products.
Yeah, a lot of lipstick and things like that have animal products.
They do.
Lanolin in particular.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do. We also try to stay away from other foods like refined white sugars and refined white flour.
The white poisons, salt,
Yeah,
sugar, flour, white flour, white rice.
Right. And, basically things that have had all the good stuff removed from them. Some people even eat a completely raw plant-based diet.
I wanted to ask you about that. I was reading an article. Some guy has a place out west somewhere where people who have diabetes come, and he puts them on some sort of a raw fruit and vegetable diet, and the signs of diabetes go away, and they even stop taking insulin. I brought this up to somebody in the county here, and who was talking about diabetes. She said, "That's bunkum. and she wouldn't come on the show. But it's online, and it's...
I have to say, there is one word that I usually use to describe people who've been on a raw food diet for a while, and the best word to describe them is radiant.
Radiant? What's that?
Radiant.
How does that work out? What do you mean?
Oh, you know, they just glow.
Oh, okay.
I know that because I do know some people.
Okay. Who are radiant?
Yes, yes. Okay, so we also don't use things like hydrogenated oils.
Uh-huh.
And,
Now, why not hydrogenated oils?
Well, because
I mean, they're not animal.
well, okay, they can still clog up your arteries. You know,
okay.
It has to do with the hydrogenation process. Another question that a lot of people ask is, how do we get enough protein on an animal-based diet?
Yeah,
I said animal-based, I meant plant-based,
yeah.
yes.
Most people get their protein from meats, right?
Well, actually, all plant foods contain amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. And as long as you eat a wide variety of plant foods and eat enough calories to maintain your ideal weight, you're getting enough protein.
Well, I heard the protein comes from beans, a lot of it.
Yes, that's one of
soy, among others.
That's
now,
one of the highest sources of protein are beans. A wide variety of beans. Soybeans are a complete protein, but because they have an estrogen-like, hormone-like substance in them, it's best to eat a wide variety of the other types of beans. You can develop, if thyroid problems run in your family and you eat a lot of soybean products, if you eat a lot of soybean products, then you can develop a thyroid problem.
What's a thyroid problem? The thyroids are up here, aren't they, somewhere?
Right in here,
Right
yes.
in there?
Yes.
Huh.
So,
I wonder if that has anything to do with goiter. Remember goiter? It was very common up here.
Yes.
Where a huge swelling would take place.
People still get that.
Do they?
Yes, yes, they do.
There must be a cure for it somewhere.
Well, yeah, there are some things that you can do. Calcium, the best sources of calcium are actually raw nuts and raw seeds, especially sesame seeds and almonds, and dark leafy green vegetables and seaweed are the best sources of calcium.
In other words, you go out and start nibbling along the beach, you're going to be okay. You get enough calcium?
Well,
seafood.
Well, these would be sea vegetables. It wouldn't be the kind of weeds that grow in Chautauqua Lake and Lake Erie.
Okay. You can't go over and graze Chautauqua Lake, huh?
No. But actually, these are a much better source of calcium than dairy products are.
Why is that? Now, you think dairy products are they always tell you, drink your milk. You need it for your teeth and bones and so forth.
Well, they've always said that. We used to see commercials on television when I was a little girl. I remember talking about how good dairy products were supposed to be for you.
Especially milk. I mean, the mustache and all that. Even today they run ads for that.
Eventually, what I found out was that actually those were advertisements that were made. The federal government subsidizes the dairy industry. And it seems that they have a surplus of dairy products, so they want people, because they pay the farmers a certain amount of money, they want everybody to eat lots of dairy products. So basically that was made up.
Okay, now cheese is a dairy product. They could make it into cheese, right? Store it. I mean, cheese will last for years.
Well, you know...
used to be you got it on Wix and things like that. The government gave away a lot of cheese.
Well, according to George Eisman, who we've had at a few of our dinners to speak, he is one of the foremost authorities on nutrition. He's a registered dietitian in the country, and
Is he vegetarian?
oh, he's a really strict vegan. He's one of
Okay.
those people that eats a raw diet.
He won't even wear leather, probably.
No. And according to him, the dairy cows, their bodies produce something that's similar to morphine, and it's something that for some reason the baby cows need. And it takes 10 pounds of milk to make a pound of cheese. So when you're eating cheese, you're getting a highly concentrated amount of this morphine-like substance, and it's actually cheese is actually addictive. It's
So you
actually
get off on it, huh?
It's actually hard to give up.
There you go, druggies. Eat cheese, man.
It's actually very hard to give up.
I find it hard to give up. I even eat Kraft slices, you know, which is not cheese. Yes, it is cheese. Kraft says there's all cheese. Some of them are not cheese, really. They're just kind of some sort of stuff they kind of stamp out.
Yeah.
You don't eat cheese, right?
No.
Yeah,
No.
Where do you put yourself in the vegetarian range here?
I eat a vegan diet myself.
That means no milk, no eggs.
No cheese.
You don't eat any leather?
No, I don't eat leather. But anyways, yeah, I'm a vegan diet, and
Was this expensive?
it's probably cheaper.
Cheaper, you think?
I would think so. The beans are probably the lowest priced item you can get at the grocery
What kind of beans
store.
do you favor?
My favorites, I love black beans and black-eyed beans, and let's see, what else?
Black-eyed peas?
Well, that was what I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
Black-eyed beans are black-eyed peas. I really like those a lot. I like the navy and great northern beans. I love split peas and lentils, and I just like to try all of them.
And they all provide some protein, of course.
Oh, yes, quite a bit.
Well, you look pretty healthy for somebody. How long have you been on this diet?
Well, I gave up eating meat 38 years ago.
Okay.
And I gave up the rest of it about 10 years ago. I used to have a lot of aches and pains. I used to get backaches really easily, back and neck and like that. And I discontinued getting aches and pains about 6 months maybe after I'd given up dairy products.
You mean to stop the aches and pains?
Yes, yes.
Really?
And if I'd known that was what was causing the aches and pains, I would have given up dairy products a lot sooner.
Yeah, I had a friend who was a vegetarian, and she always used to tell you should not drink milk after the age of 21, because what it does is it gets into your system and creates bone protrusions, and what do they call them?
Bone spurs.
Bone spurs.
Yeah.
It inflames your joints after a while.
Right,
so you shouldn't
right.
drink it because it can't go anywhere anymore.
Well, the experts say that after the age of 3, our stomachs don't contain the enzymes necessary to digest dairy products.
So the people that are drinking milk and eating cheese can't really digest it properly? They seem to do okay, though. I mean, my wife drinks a lot of milk. My son loves it. He drinks a gallon every couple of days. I got a phone call. You want to take a phone call?
Oh, okay.
Hello there, caller. Thank you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
What's up?
I have a little experience with vegetarianism, although they're not vegans and they're not literally vegetarians. Well, some of them are, but they're piscetarians because.
Okay, I was looking for. I was calling pechos, but picos.
Piscetarians.
Piscetarians. That means fish eaters.
Yes.
Okay.
They eat fish. 'Cause
Pike, like a great northern pike, you know, like
they're
a walleye
cold-blooded,
pike.
and so they do eat the fish or
Okay.
shrimp and things like that. Anyways, having been invited to meals at their houses and so forth, I have found that because there's such a wide variety of store-bought vegetarian food that you can buy now, if you're not told that you're eating vegetarian, at least half the time you would never know that you were eating vegetarian.
How about lasagna?
I've made lasagna, and people have not known that they're eating vegetarian.
How about that? We make 2 lasagnas. Whenever we have a party, because there are vegetarian. I keep trying to say veggies, you know,
Right.
vegetarians in our family, and we provide the alternative. And I must say, they taste about the same.
Absolutely, because you can eat. I have done this many times, and other people that are members of the family don't even know, that aren't vegetarians, don't even know that they're not getting vegetarian, because they make a crumbled hamburger, vegetarian hamburger, and you put that in your spaghetti sauce, you put that in your chili, you put that in your lasagna, and nobody knows, because you're not, when you're eating that, you're not really tasting the meat. You're just getting the consistency of it normally, because you're tasting the sauce of your, you know, when you're cooking your Italian meals, you're really tasting the sauce, and so you're still getting the consistency of having meat in your mouth, but it's vegetarian meat.
So
And I've served it at least 3 times to people that didn't know it, and they had no idea.
you sound like you have a crowd over there.
No, I have it echo though, for some reason.
Well, at any rate, caller, your family has a tendency toward vegetarianism. Some of them, you tell me, and the point is, you can provide vegetarian food that tastes like regular because they have a vegetarian hamburger, right? It's probably cheaper than real hamburger.
That's one of them, yes. I've also had...
My guest, do you eat the vegetarian hamburgers?
Once in a while, if I'm in a hurry and I need something that I have to fix quickly.
You can whip one up.
Yeah.
Just fry it like any regular hamburger, right?
I usually do it in the oven.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. And you were saying?
I have found that there's a lot of things that, because I'm not personally a vegetarian, so I don't normally cook vegetarian, but I have a lot of food that I keep on hand for when the family members that are vegetarian come to my house. There's almost always something in my freezer that they can eat. Plus, there's just your regular store-bought pizzas and stuff like that. But I know the one person that I'm very close to that's a vegetarian cooks from scratch a lot of vegetarian meals, and I've eaten at their house, and there's a couple things that I haven't gone over real well, but it wouldn't have gone over real well if it hadn't been vegetarian either, so I can't blame it on being vegetarian.
There you
but
go.
A lot of the food is, you know, and plus there's a lot of food like eggs. You can, unless you're a vegan or vegan, is it vegan or vegan?
What is it?
Vegan.
Vegan.
Right, unless you're a vegan, you can eat eggs and cheeses and stuff, and you know, most people have those in their houses. So if a vegetarian comes to your house that's not a vegan, you can definitely feed them easily.
Okay, well, thank you for your input, caller. And I hope you have a great day, and get after those beans. That's the best part of it, is the protein.
Protein in the beans, that's right.
Right, there you go.
Okay,
Thanks for the call. I'm going to send you $5 off at that beautiful little restaurant down at the foot of the hill in Mayville.
I'm familiar with that one, and the food is delicious.
Lakeview. Well, now we're on the subject. They have the best salad bar in the county.
Yes,
they have a
do.
wonderful salad bar.
Very nice salad bar.
Has over 50 different items on it. It's incredible.
Yes, it's very nice. I've eaten there before.
The Lakeview.
Enjoyed it.
And they have a fish for your picatarians that is laps over about a foot over your plate. It's huge, fried. And I just love a fried fish when they do it deep fried. Oh man, fish dinner. Okay, thanks a lot, caller.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We got a bunch of phone calls. You want to take another one, or you want to talk?
Well, there was a couple of other things that I wanted to mention.
Okay, caller, you'll have to hold on 1 second here.
You were talking about somebody having overcome being diabetic
Yeah.
with a raw diet.
Well, there's a whole bunch of people that swear by it.
Right. Well, what I wanted to say is there's certain medical doctors, I'll mention a couple of names, Caldwell Esselstyn and Joel Furman, who have had a lot of success reversing serious diseases. They've actually been able to, with a plant-based diet, reverse reverse heart disease. People's arteries have been cleaned out just on a plant-based diet.
Okay, thank you. Caller, you're on.
Hey, good morning, Reed. Good morning, Gail.
What's up?
Great show. It's very interesting. So vegetarian's more just for your health. It's not like I would have thought vegetarians were just against killing of animals.
Yeah, why be a vegetarian?
Well, it's a very complex situation, and that was one of the things that I was planning on leading up to here. It's both for health, and there's an animal rights issue too. When you realize that you're feeling healthier after giving up animal products, then it does become an animal rights issue. But also, another thing that a lot of people don't know, I think most people don't know this, is the negative effects that an animal-based diet has on the environment. Did you know that 70% of the rainforest has been cut down for grazing cattle? And the rainforest provides a large percentage of the oxygen on the planet. The animals, when they go to the toilet and when they pass gas, this contributes towards global warming.
Methane. When they pass gas, up here we say fart. When they pass gas, though, they pass a lot of methane, right? And that goes right in the atmosphere, creates the gases that stop the passage of the heat out of the planet, so it gets hotter and hotter and hotter.
Right. And it also contributes towards the desertification of an area, and what that means is the process by which an area becomes a desert. And it's polluting too. Now, a lot of people ask the question, what are we supposed to do with all those animals? Well, the fact of the matter is, if it wasn't for, what do they call them, the factory farms, and there wouldn't be as many animals, because most of those animals, those are not natural pregnancies.
So they're all
most of those animals are artificially inseminated.
Really, and they're like force fed too to get big fast, and
well, that's why.
No, it just seems abusive to animals. Well, I mean, I gotta say I'm not a vegetarian, but I mean it's just some of the.
It's kind of mean to have to kill them.
It is.
Incidentally, I wanted to pass this on. Veal is very hard to find and very expensive now. You know why? Back in the old days, when they inseminated a animal, it was natural, and half the animals were the wrong type. If you were a cattle farmer, you got half your animals were steers, bulls.
Right.
And so they would slaughter them early and call it veal.
Yes, they still do, as far as I know.
Well, they don't have any mistakes now, because they immediately know whether it's a male or female, and they abort it.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. If it's the wrong kind.
Oh.
And they go right ahead again and re-inseminate them. And that way they can, and incidentally have ways of making sure the semen produces a very high percentage of the right kind.
Oh.
If you're a dairy farmer, you get mostly cows, and if you're a range farmer, meat farmer, you get mostly steers. Well, steer is actually a bull that has lost certain parts of its anatomy. I have a big clipper thing that they used to use, as a matter of fact. But at any rate, they changed that quite a bit. So there's no veal left. I mean, very little veal. So its high prices could be, and there was, veal was an animal that's under a certain age. Well, the government had to change that now, and you can almost have a full-grown animal and call it veal.
So, hey, Gail.
Yeah,
You're on.
I was wondering now, how would I find? I see you're like part of a program. How would I find that on the internet to read about it? Is there a website?
Do you have a website?
Yes.
Where do they go? Just look up Chautauqua County Vegetarian Society, right?
Well, I was going to say if he probably wouldn't want to give it on the television. I was going to say if he wanted to give me his email.
Well, why don't you give him your phone number? Then
okay. It's 753-7761.
Any
questions
you
If you want to call me up sometime this weekend and give me your email. Then
Okay, thank you.
I'll put you on the mailing list. We usually email the newsletter, the monthly newsletter out.
Okay.
Is there dues?
The doctor says I need to get healthier, so maybe that would be a good start.
Yeah, I bet
Okay,
it would be.
I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you.
So, well,
you're
thank you for the
welcome.
call, and I'll send you $5 off, some $5 tickets over at the Lakeview if you'd like them. A wonderful restaurant and a huge
down.
salad bar.
I'll go down for the salad bar.
All right,
We'll
head
see
for
you
that
later. Thank
salad
you.
bar. You might even
Bye-bye.
be a picatarian. Who knows?
I don't know.
Or you're gonna have a fish. Yeah, oh, they have a fish there and blow your mind. All right, now you have dinners. Tell us about these dinners.
Oh, yes, we have them once a month.
Once a
They're
month,
Usually at the YWCA in Westfield.
You have a wonderful kitchen there, a wonderful organization.
Yes, yes, it is. And we have, we just serve a vegan meal. It's a total plant-based meal. It's made with all good ingredients, organic ingredients. And then we have, it's usually the second Wednesday of the month, and we have, usually have a speaker. If we don't have a speaker, either sometimes Ann or I will do the program on something that we know
Who's
enough
Ann?
about. Ann Watkins, she's the other coordinator.
Okay, now, this is the second Wednesday at the YWCA in Westfield.
In Westfield.
And if you want to know about vegetarianism, you want to experience or want to meet some people, want to see a healthy crowd that hasn't had any meat in years, most of them, drop around, right?
Right. We have a really nice, friendly group of people, and we've had some really, really good speakers. We've actually had the president of the Vegan Society, Freya Dinshaw, come to speak at our dinner, and in fact, her daughter is part of our group. She lives in Chautauqua County part of the time.
Well, that's a wonderful.
And she is also an author. She's written 3 books of her own. One of them is Healthy Hearty Helpings, a recipe book. Another one is, I can't remember the exact title. It's supposed to be Simple Recipes for Vegans. She's written another one called Dating Vegans. And the most recent one, her and her mother did together, her mother Freya. And it's a vegan cooking book for children. And it's really good too. It actually has people, it shows it both with pictures and in print how to safely use knives and blenders and how to do all these vegan recipes and things. And
well, tell me, are many kids vegetarians?
Ann Dinshaw and her brother, because they were born into this family where their parents ran the Vegan Society of the United States, they are lifetime vegans. They've grown up since they were babies. They've eaten only a vegan diet.
So, and they're still alive. Do vegans outlive non-vegans?
Well, I think they probably do as a general rule.
So it might add a few years to your life, huh?
Yes, it would. Yeah, not only that, but quality of life towards the end. Part of the reason I do this is I'd like to not just live longer, but be able to take care of myself up until the end of my life.
And then when you go to the county home, it'll still be there, hopefully.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm looking at it closely because I'm narrowing in on this this age level, you know.
So anyways,
Veganism.
I really think that it's pretty important.
So back to this dinner, though. Now, this is an important connection. You can meet people who are actual vegans, and you can taste vegan food. Who provides the food? Where do you get it?
Well, mainly right now, the way that we do it is we do it as sort of a potluck where if you know how to prepare vegan food, you bring a dish to pass, or if you don't feel you can do that, you have your choice of paying $6 for your meal.
So actually, you know, there are many easy ways to have a vegan dish. I mean, if you just had a bottle of peanuts, that would be vegan.
A bottle of peanuts?
Yeah.
Well,
Pound of peanuts, whatever, you know.
yeah,
That
work
would
too.
count as a vegan dish, right? No meats in it.
Right.
But it does have nut meat.
You would probably not want to have any oils or salt or anything on it.
Okay, we got another couple of calls. You want to take a
Okay.
call? Oh, thank you for holding. You're on, caller.
Good morning. I was wondering, how hard is it to actually become a vegetarian? I know a couple other callers spoke about aspects of that, but if a person wanted to become a vegan or a vegetarian today, would they have to slowly eliminate foods, or would they just go cold turkey on this?
Well, first of all, you got to get your license. You can't just start out as a vegan.
Yeah, it probably is easiest if you make small changes at a time. I gave up eating. I went off of all meat, including chicken and fish and like that. I just went cold turkey on it 38 years ago, and honestly, I never missed it. Eventually, I gave up the other things too, but it does seem, it probably is easier if you go one step at a time. When you're moving towards a plant-based diet, the diet to where you're eating only plant foods, the diet becomes very cleansing. I mean, you wouldn't want to go from the standard American diet directly to a raw vegan diet, because then it would be extremely cleansing and you'd have a lot of toxins that had built up in your body over the years that would suddenly start being cleaned out of your body. But the problem with that is when you're removing these toxins too rapidly, and they're moving through your body, they start to cause symptoms. A lot of people, if they do that, they actually get very sick from these toxins that are moving on their way out of their bodies. So it's probably safer to do it one step at a time. I would say give up the meat first.
All meats or just red meats? Or?
Well, like I said, I gave up chicken and fish too. According to some of the experts that I met, like George Eisman, you know, like the fish, most of the fish on the market today is actually farm raised. And so it's actually fed the same kind of junk that they feed to the other farm animals, so there's still a lot of cholesterol and like that in them. So I would go off of all meat altogether first. You know, start eating, if you eat white bread or you eat a lot of sugary foods and like that, I would start cutting back on that, switching to whole grains, incorporating more beans and things into your diet. If you don't usually like to eat a lot of vegetables, increase the amount of vegetables you eat, and, you know, gradually and cut back on, I would say cut out the dairy before cutting out the eggs, but because of the morphine-like effect that you're going to have going off of cheese, you're going to find cheese difficult to quit. Because of the addictive factor. Eggs, if you're going to eat just one animal food, according to a lot of experts that I've listened to, if you're going to eat one animal food, they say have it be eggs. Mm-hmm. Eggs are the least bad. They used to have a bad reputation. They used to say they were extremely high in cholesterol, but what a lot of the experts are saying now is it isn't the eggs that's so bad, it's all that bacon and sausage that people think they have to eat with it.
Well, do you give up bacon when you're a vegetarian?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. How could you?
I remember early on as a vegetarian, I remember hearing that donuts were fried in lard. Uh-huh. So after that, I wouldn't eat donuts anymore.
Well, my wife made pie crusts out of lard, and one day one of our vegetarian friends came over. We just didn't give it a thought. She said, you know, that crust is wonderful. That's the best thing I ever ate. She's vegetarian. And so my wife just kept her mouth shut. But admittedly, you have a lot of choices as a vegetarian.
Yeah, actually, what you'll find out when you start switching to a vegetarian diet is you'll find that there's a lot of foods out there that you never even knew about. I was surprised. I find it a lot more interesting than the standard American diet.
Okay, if you have a vegetarian meal, oh, thank you, caller. I'll send you a couple of $5 off over at Lakeview. What is an average meal in terms of, what would you have? Describe what you had last night. What did you have last night?
Well, I had a big tossed salad last night. You know, those kind of bowls that are like almost a cross between a soup bowl and
Big bowl, yeah.
yeah, and a plate, you know. I had one of those full of tossed salad. And for the remainder of the meal, I had sautéed some mushrooms and lightly steamed some broccoli and
Do you use butter? You don't use butter, you don't.
extra virgin olive oil.
Oh, okay.
And,
Like the Romans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what I had for supper last
I'm sorry.
night.
Okay, great. And just in time, I just got this message. We're off the air, throwing us off.
Why?
Because time's up. I'll give you 30 seconds of uninterrupted time to close off, okay? This is your time.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to say that I really am happy that I had this opportunity to share some information with you. Unfortunately, in the small amount of time we have, we can only touch the tip of the iceberg as far as the information out there goes. So
There's your phone number, right?
right. I'd like to encourage you to attend our dinners if you want to learn more. And as far as trying things on your own, there's lots of vegetarian and vegan recipe books out there to be had. A lot of people think it's too hard to change because they'd have to learn all kinds of things. But I say, as long as you know how to use a recipe book, you'll be able to figure it out.
Thank you. Just jump in, and you're all set. Thank you. This has been Gail Erb, who is the president and she's done a lot of things. She's co-coordinator of the Chautauqua County Vegetarian Vegan Society, and she knows her stuff. And if you ever want to call her again, her number has been posted a number of times. You may, well, give them the number again.
753-7761.
There you go. Give her a buzz. Drop her around at the Y. Every month they have
It's
a wonderful
advertised in the newspaper.
You'll find it everywhere. Okay. I want to thank certain special, wonderful people. Chuck Kelsey, Devin Taylor, who's right here with us, Chris Burt, Randy Burt, Chris Ramaker, Jeff Zook, Don Zenz, John Hamels. And last caller, I'm sorry we couldn't get you on, but maybe next time you'll come around again, huh?
Probably.
Okay, there you go.
Share the information
Okay,
that we didn't have
sure.
time for today.
All right. I want to just say, may all that is proud and true and noble abide with you. I'm Reed Powers.